So happy Wednesday to you. There's been a lot of discussion lately in the country about what makes for an essential business, what's not essential, what's appropriate to be open, what's appropriate to be closed. I personally think gyms ought to be essential. Really, exercise is good for the soul. But what about bars? Now, we won't have that conversation. I'm talking to a Baptist audience here, but some would say a bar is pretty essential as well. But there's something we all do in church world as pastors. Never thought we would come to a day like this. But the metrics of what makes for a successful church is completely out the window these days. Before, a successful church was, as some used to always say, the three B's: baptisms, budgets, and buildings. We've done pretty well with the budget, done very well, as a matter of fact. We have a beautiful building. No baptisms these days, although I have met with several young people who have made their profession of faith. And as soon as we're back in the sanctuary, that will be our celebration. But, we have asked that question through the years, which I think is an eternal metric that never changes. And that is, if our church were to shut down, would it make any difference in our community? Boy, whoever thought that would even remotely be actually our experience? But somebody said to me, and I got an email the other day, said, we need to have something more positive in my Love Does post. And I wrote back, I just put in the Love Does post. We've put over 4,200 pounds harvested already in the community garden. We had 90 backpacks donated. There's all kind of wonderful, positive things that are happening in our church these days. And so we give thanks for that. But I'm also very aware, and I struggle with this so much these days. I'm a people pleaser. And I know that we have such a diversity in our church that there's no way that we get one solid, straight answer as to what we ought to be doing around here. There are some who are appropriately scared of the pandemic and don't want to be where they might be vulnerable. There are others who think it's pretty much a hoax. I don't know how 150,000 deaths suggests that, but nevertheless, there's just that diversity in our church. And we're trying to come around to one defining principle, and that is what keeps each other safe. And we do that just because we are Christians. What is the prime commandment Jesus said? Love the Lord your God and your neighbor as yourself. And one of the ways we express compassion is to show care, is express safety in all that's going on. I know whenever I go into people's homes, which is not near enough these days, but whenever I see somebody, I immediately ask the question, would you like for me to wear my mask? That's just a matter of respect. That's a matter of being sensitive to where other people are. And I wish we could open things up, but I know that we're still a ways off. This is about 20 weeks now. We're getting to half a year pretty soon here. It just seems like eternity for me. But, if the church closed down, would it make any difference in the community? It's also a personal question. If the church closed down, would it make any difference in your life? I think about the school situation right now. Some are learning how to homeschool while they're working, and I have such a heart for parents of school agers that are trying to juggle 10 different things and all a whole new world. But there are other parents in our church who have done homeschooling for years, and so there's been no adjustment at all. And I think about that with church. Some of you, church is something that is at the heart of your life, and you miss it. It's a huge adjustment to not be here on Sundays and Wednesdays. Others of you, quite frankly, never came to church before the pandemic, and so there's really no adjustment at all. And I wish for you that one day when we get back together, that something new will be your experience, that you'll learn and experience what those of us who value church so much and it makes such a difference will come to experience in your own life. And so, a friend of mine, Doug Dortch, he was writing, he's a minister down in Alabama. We went to seminary together. He was talking about a friend of his whose church eventually declined to the point where they literally had to close the doors and close the church. And he invited some friends to come to that. And one friend said, well, I didn't come to the closing of Burger King, so I'm not going to come to the closing of a church. And Doug made the same point I would make. I'd like to think we're a little more important than Burger King. I love Junior Whoppers without lettuce and have it your own way. But I love the church, and I love Wake Forest Baptist Church especially. And so we're not closing around here. Sunday school classes are meeting. We're looking forward, and I hope you're already going to be a part of a huge worship gathering Sunday night, August the 23rd, 7 o'clock, Stevenson campus. Bring your lawn chair, bring your mask, bring your spirit that I miss so much. But are we essential? That has not changed. We are making an impact in this community. And Wake Forest Baptist Church is the reason we're here. And I want all of you to hang in there with us. Be compassionate and caring of each other. Be patient when our guidelines are not exactly what you would want them to be. And keep on praying, because we are not Burger King. Thanks be to God.